leak in my family room ceiling, and I discovered it is from, see the pipes over there, they're going up to the master bath shower. The master bath shower, the problem with replacing this thing is that this side is tiled and so is the rest of the bathroom, the same tile. I don't have the tile. If it breaks, I don't have a similar tile, and the back is the outside of the house, so I can't cut through that. I'll probably have to cut through this. To cut through the grout, I'm going to use this Dremel Multimate tool I have, but I'm going to put this diamond tip blade on it that supposedly cuts grout easily. Let's try it. So I'm going to try to cut it directly through that. It seems to be working. I just have to be careful. This is where I am so far as the cut goes, and I'll leave it there for now. I'll go work a little bit on the ceiling in the family room downstairs. I've cut open the family room ceiling to expose the pipes leading up to the bathroom. And around here, I'm going to cut the pipe. I've turned off the house water, and I'm going to install two of these, one in the hot, one in the cold. This is what is called a compression valve, and all you need to do is basically tighten this nut and it creates a valve. Use this pipe cutter to cut one of the pipes, and then I have put what is called a compression nut on one side, so I can insert the one end of the valve and turn the compression nut to create an on-off valve. So the valve is on. Hopefully that works. We'll find out when we turn the water on. Now to cut the other pipe. I'll offset the valves a little bit so the handles don't hit the other pipe. I've turned on the house water with the valves off, and I don't see any leaks so far, so it looks like a success. Now my idea is from there on forward, going up, I am going to use a technology called PEX, which is a plastic pipe. And to do that, I have to put an adapter, which looks like this, to the end of it so that I can continue with PEX from here. Now, let me explain how this will work. The PEX pipe, the plastic pipe, will be attached on this side, and the copper pipe will be attached over here. But how do you attach it? This is a technology, again, called ProPress, which is a copper technology, which uses a crimper to attach copper to a connector like this. It's got a rubber inside, as you can see. And the crimper presses down on this big ring to the point where the rubber makes the connection watertight. This is a little copper pipe that I put in there. And now I'm going to crimp it using the crimper and make a watertight connection. By the way, you notice that the ends of the copper pipe, the piece has been shined using one of those things that are called a deburrer. So you need to do that before inserting it into this connector. And now I'm going to crimp it. So this is a crimper. Now I'm going to tighten. I'm going to pump it so that it tightens like a noose around the neck of that ring. And it makes a very, very tight, watertight connection. There you go, it's done. Now, elephants can't pull this apart. I must mention is that this is what is called a PEX-A connection, and I have to use a PEX-A pipe for this connector, otherwise you'll have a leak. The differences between PEX-A and PEX-B are many, but I prefer PEX-A because it allows for much better flow. The connectors are much bigger. So I prefer PEX-A. You can do your own research on the differences between PEX-A and PEX-B, but there is a big difference. There. We have connected the first one to the compression valve, the first conversion bit we created to the compression valve. So now we can continue from that one with PEX-A pipe. So that one is going to continue with PEX-A pipe. We're going to do the same thing for the second valve over there, the open end, and there also we're going to continue with PEX-A pipe. This white pipe here is a PEX-A pipe, a lot cheaper than copper, and this is a 90-degree connector that I'm going to use to go up to the upstairs bathroom. Now you notice that this opening here is almost exactly the same size as the pipe. It won't fit in there. So what we need to do is use this expander gun, or this expander tool, which I got for $100 on Amazon, to expand the PEX pipe and fit it in, and the memory of the plastic will clamp down on the copper, on the brass. Before using the expansion tool, you have to use these PEX-A rings, to give it more strength when it clamps down. I use the expansion tool to expand it and pushed it on, and I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes before it's ready to use. This joint that I made, this L-shaped joint, I marked where I wanted it to be cut, and I got this PEX and PVC cutting tool for $10 on Amazon, and I'm going to use it for the first time. It's a ratcheting tool to cut the PEX pipe. Okay, and this is what it looks like when I install the PEX with the 90-degree angle onto the copper. Now this is the valve that goes inside the shower. This is where the handle will be attached outside the tiles or whatever finish you have in your bathroom. And the reason I'm using this is because it's one of the most popular. It's not crazy expensive. I got this for like $65 on Amazon, and it has a lot of spare parts available if you ever need it. Very easy to use, the R10000, Delta R10000. Now I need to do some preparation before I install this inside the shower. We're looking at this thing from the front, the valve. So you see this thing on one side here, and then the other side here, and there's one on the top. The one on the left side is the hot water in. This is the cold water in. And this is the shower out after it's mixed inside there. Now I want to use PEX here and here on the side. So I need to convert these openings to accept PEX. So I have used a particular joint that will help me do it. So first I need to put Teflon tape around it and install that connector to convert it to PEX-A. There, I put 4 circles of Teflon tape, but you need to put it in the direction in which you're going to rotate the nut on top of that, so that it doesn't bunch up when you rotate it. The connector I'm going to use to convert the shower input to PEX-A. So I got this in Home Depot, I think. Yeah, Home Depot. It's called the PEX-A half-inch to half-inch PEX-A bath to half-inch FPT, female adapter. That's what it looks like. So now that's the adapter on there. That will convert that input to PEX. Of course, it needs to be tightened quite a bit, but there it is. Moved that plastic piece temporarily because it was getting in the way. So here's what it looks like with the 2 inputs, the hot and the cold, converted to PEX. Now the top guy, I want to keep it as copper, but I do not want to sweat the copper, which is basically soldering the copper. I know how to do it, but I'm not good at it. I'm a do-it-yourselfer. So I got this joint here, which is basically, it converts this to a compression fitting for the copper. Now, the compression fitting, you cannot put a compression fitting right on this because that doesn't work. It's not shaped the right way. So you need to put a regular half-inch whatever fitting. I'll tell you what the name is. That leads to a compression fitting. Okay. So I just checked on Amazon. This is called the 5/8 OD. That's the outer diameter of a half-inch pipe. Half-inch copper pipe The outer diameter is 5/8 inch. Sure, it's 5/8 inch OD to 1/2 inch NPT. So this is for a 1/2 inch pipe, but this is called NPT, the thread. So you need 5/8 inch outer diameter pipe, which is a 1/2 inch pipe, to a female 1/2 inch NPT. Now, all I have to do is use a copper pipe here and tighten this compression fitting around that copper with that olive or whatever you call that, the ferrule around the copper pipe, and you'll have a watertight joint to the copper pipe. And on these two sides, I'm going to have the PEX-A pipes coming in. Now we're back upstairs in the bathroom shower. So I made 4 drill holes in 4 corners of the thing after removing the tiles carefully. And then I used a jigsaw to cut between the holes and cut out the whole piece. Now the old shower valve is exposed. So now I need to just basically cut that darn thing out. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I needed the valve to come forward before mounting it on the wall. So I created this from a 2x6 piece of wood. I cut out a piece that is wide enough to fit between 2 vertical studs, and I put L-shaped brackets on it so that I can just screw them onto the studs with the vertical part of those L-shaped brackets. And then I will mount the shower valve over here so it sticks out just enough. So it shouldn't stick out further than the wall, the finished wall of the shower. So that's what I've measured. So I have taken that piece of wood that I just cut and put the L brackets on and installed it inside the wall. And like I said, I've installed the L brackets against the studs. And I'm just dry fitting this to see how it looks, if it fits the tile that I cut out. If it does, then that's as far as going on. Otherwise, I'd have to adjust. And yes, it fits quite well. But I might need to move it a little bit over to the left because of that opening over there on the top where the shower comes out. I fashioned this outlet for the shower using this piece here. I'm not sure what it's called. And I crimped it using a ProPress fitting. This is a ProPress fitting onto a copper pipe. And now I'm going to pass that copper pipe through that hole there and fit it into the top, which I had already set up with a compression fitting. And now attached this pipe that I sent from downstairs from the family room and this pipe using the PEX expander, and screwed on the valve in 2 places. So now it's perfect. I'm not too happy with this thing because it turned a little bit the last second when I was tightening this guy here. Oh well. So now from the family room ceiling, I have made final connections to the pipes that go up to the bathroom, and they're of course PEX pipes with the PEX expander tool. And I turned on the valves that I installed yesterday, and guess what? There's no leaks. Now we got to see if the system works. That's all. So here it is from the bathroom. No leaks. So by the way, I have capped off the place where the shower comes out just to make sure that it is pressure tested properly. So, and I opened these valves, which are called service valves. You turn them off when you want to fix this or change the cartridge. So I turn them on and it is not leaking. Now I have removed the cap which was on the shower output. Now I'm going to open the service valve and you're going to see it with me to see if anything comes out of it. Yep. Why is it white? I don't know. There you go though. And we'll test the other side and we'll see if that also cleans it, or maybe it's cleaning out the system. And I've actually connected the shower, handheld shower, to it without putting in the mechanism inside, the cartridge as they call it, inside there. So if I turn on the two service valves on the two sides, the hot and cold, the shower comes on full force. So I'm going to test that again. I open the service valves that are on the side and check it out. Shower works. Now that the shower is all tested, pressure tested, everything works, I am putting this backer board I had cut out back in there. But to do that, I cut out these pieces of plywood, as you can see, and one up there, one there, and one there, and I screwed them in from the front of the backer board, so that when I put this piece of backer board back, it doesn't fall in. So let's see how that works. And there it is. That's how it looks. Next, I'm going to put this board seam tape, which I picked up from Home Depot, on the seams between the piece that I cut out and the original backboard, and fill the gap with thin set. There, I applied the tape, the mesh tape, and now I am applying a thin set. Well, actually it's not thin set, it's tile glue, Acryl Pro tile glue, which I got from Home Depot. And next I'll install the tiles. The seams are now covered with Acryl Pro. Remember, you have to cover whatever you have installed so it doesn't get ruined by thin set falling on it. And also put a sheet of plastic on the bathtub or wherever you're working. So I'm using a small trowel, notched trowel, to put tile adhesive. And now I'm going to use this grout float to apply grout to these tiles. That is a finished product. I know it looks a little whiter than the surroundings, but give it a few days. So there, I installed a new shower trim which I got from Amazon, and that was quite easy to do. And as for this, I put caulk, silicone caulk, to completely cover it, and that piece, that hole, is going to get covered by something called an escutcheon. I think that's what it's called. It's a steel plate that will make it look nice. And once I do that, all I have to do is connect this shower to that. That's it. This part is pretty much done. The ceiling in the family room below, I cut out that shape of board, wall board, so I can turn on and off the water whenever I need to. And I'm going to put this little panel. I'll easily open it and close it when I need to. So that's what it looks like, the panel. Now I'm going to put spackling on that and sand it and paint it. And here is the finished product. I tested it. It works great. After spackling and painting, after spackling, sanding and painting the ceiling, that's what it looks like. And I can easily access the shut-off valve and close it when I don't need it. It's done.